We are into episode 15.
Whoop, whoop.
And we are not on our own today.
We have a guest.
Have a guest. Richard Stone.
Hello.
Welcome.
Look forward to the conversation.
Wow, how exciting.
I know. Do you want to... Should we kick off with a bit about you?
I feel like you should intro him because you know him so well.
I don't know. I'm actually looking forward to getting to know things that I don't know about you. But Richard and I, and your wonderful wife and business partner,
Yep.
have been working together since November.
Indeed we have.
And it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper.
Only since November you've started
Yeah.
this business?
No.
So we launched a course in November 22. We did an event in 22.
Right.
So yeah, I wrote it. I
Wow.
wrote the course. I'd spent pretty much the whole of the year writing the course in 2022. Apart from like 6 bits of consumption.
I don't know what. I thought you'd been doing this for years.
You would think, but you are so comfortable and confident at delivering your content.
I don't talk about shit I don't know. Like if you ask me a question on like neuroscience or something, I'm like,
But you do know
serious.
something about neuroscience.
Yeah, I know a little bit, yeah, but I'm not. I don't talk about stuff I'm not confident about. I'd be like, do you know what? I'll signpost you to that person.
Yeah.
I'm not into bullshit. I'd rather just go, do you know what? That's not my jam. It's not what I know about. I'm quite happy to listen if you want to talk at me.
Yeah.
Because I love learning, but I wouldn't be offering opinions on stuff that. Because opinions are a bit like arseholes.
Everyone's got one, yeah.
Yeah.
But most of them stink.
Is that like your best joke?
No, not at all. I quite often I get chastised quite a lot for making people laugh when I'm speaking. I'm meant to be delivering content, and when I deliver my course, like people are like, "This is just a riot." It's like, what the fuck? Where'd you get all these like comments from? Like, I've been in the industry 40 years. It's just a life in one industry. So
Tell us about it, because I don't know anything. Do you mind? Because I don't know anything about your background at all.
Okay.
I don't mind.
So I was born in Birmingham. So I used to sound like a Brummie.
Yeah.
And I
what
left
happened to your Birmingham accent?
I had elocution lessons.
Did you?
No.
Oh. I'm so gullible. Don't do that, Richard.
I had the elocution lessons of life.
Yeah.
Right.
So I left Birmingham when I was
site.
Yeah, when I was 8, and I moved to Bristol. So I went from talking like a Brummie. So I can't read and I can't write, but I can drive a tractor. And I got really badly bullied because I spoke really differently.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about different parts of the country: the education system moves at different paces. So I was in school in Birmingham, in Bristol, at 8, and I was about 3 years ahead of a lot of the kids in that school because I'd covered different stuff in Birmingham that they'd not covered.
Oh, wow.
So some people bullied me because I sounded like a thick fucker from Birmingham, and other people bullied me because I was a swat.
Right.
So I was on lose-lose.
Yeah,
I couldn't really win. So it wasn't the most enjoyable part of my life when I was first there. And then when I was 11, I got offered a job in the pub at the end of our road, washing up in the kitchen.
At 11?
At 11, yeah. So I was like, I'd done a trial shift, and they were like, yeah, so it was on a Saturday. So like, right, okay. So come back next Friday. So I went back Friday, done Friday, and I just said to my mum and dad, like, I do dishes at home, but this is like a kitchen, what do I do? And they were like, well, just be on time or be early, be 15 minutes early, like I was today. Because them lessons you learn when you're a kid that serve you always go back to. And just work hard. And if you finish what they ask you to do, just say, right, okay, I've done that now, what can I do next? So I did that. So I ended up within about 3 weeks doing Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday lunch, and I used to get a tenner a shift when I started. And really quickly they were like, you just work. It's just like you're like way more grown up than your years. You work, you fit into the team. And the guy that used to come in the pub early in the morning and do like the bottling up, so pulling all the stuff forward, like you'd call it merchandising now, I suppose. Yeah. But like bottling up, just didn't turn up one day. So they come and chat my door and we're like, can you come and do the bottling up tomorrow? So I was like, well, how much are you going to pay me? So we agreed a price, and that was what we got done. But I got paid an amount for doing it, not for how many hours I was there. Whereas when I was washing up, I got paid by the hour. So I was like, this is wicked. If I do it quicker. So I was like, right, how can I be quicker? So like I used to have to take all the stinky old empties down and sort them out in the cellar. So I rearranged all their cellar so that I could work it so I could be quicker, because I like to get home and wash to go to school. Yeah. So I was like, how can I make this quicker for myself? So I did that, and they were like, this is cool, we like him. So they obviously, I mean, I didn't know, but they were obviously sort of talking amongst themselves as a family. And a couple of weeks later, the landlord and landlady had got a son and daughter. The son did scaffolding, and the daughter, her boyfriend was a landscaper.
Right.
So the son said to me on Saturday, "Oh, my labour can't work tomorrow. Do you want to come in and help me? Like, you look like quite big and strong." So I did that. And they were arguing in the lorry about how much they'd earned, because they'd put a scaffold round 3 sides of a house. And they were arguing about how much they'd earned. And like they'd worked it out with a nail on the back of a fag box.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck? And Stan and Marge have passed away now, so I can say it. Like, geezers, Saturday lunchtime, sitting in a scaffold lorry, done their work, earned their money. They weren't exactly like whiter than white, you know. There was a few different things going on. Some cigarettes, a few cans of Stella, and a few other bits. But they couldn't. They were arguing that they'd not earned enough money between them. But they'd only charged for 1 lift.
Right.
So they should have charged for 3.5 lifts. So I was like, that's where you put on. They were like, well, fuck off. Who do you think you are?
And how old are you then?
It was probably about 11 and a half, 12. Yeah, it wasn't very old. But I knew maths.
Yeah.
And ironically, I used to get shouted at by my maths teachers for like getting ahead in my maths book. Because I liked maths, I still do. That's why I trained as a QS. So they were like, we want you to do our numbers for us and help us. So I did that. So I was like, I would go in and like work with them some days instead of going to school.
Yeah.
Like weekends. Like I could go and earn 100 quid and be back in the pub by 3 o'clock. But I'd have to go back to the pub at night, wash up for like 10. Well, I think I got a score a shift in the end.
Yeah.
So it was like, this is fucking mad. But I've just loved working. I loved being around adults.
Yeah.
Because being around kids was just, they were just horrible and not nice. So I started using some of my wages to just placate them and just get them to fuck off, and I'd just give them like £5 to go and buy some sweets and shit. So that kind of worked. And then when I was 13, my dad got promoted again, and I'll never forget coming home and then saying, "No, we're moving house." I was like, "No, we're not." Like, what do you mean? No, we're not. It's not your choice. We're moving house. Dad's got promoted. This is good news. Like, what part of this is good news? Like, my life is sweet. This is not good news, like in any way, shape or form. And it's kind of, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation in life where you say something coming from a good place, but it has really unintended consequences for someone else. And that was how that felt, because I didn't want to go. So at 13 we moved from Bristol to a place called Wing in Buckinghamshire.
I know Wing.
Which would be a nice place for a salon.
Yes.
Because it's quite.
It would. I was brought up in Couplington.
No way.
Yeah.
How weird is that? It's just down the road.
I know.
So we moved to Wing. Didn't know anyone again. Like, so bullying started. It was pretty horrible. And then one of the neighbours down our road wanted some painting and stuff done. So I painted the outside of his house on price work, which was quite nice.
Wow.
And I said to him, look, like, this paint's like, it's going to be 5 years. Like, you're a driving instructor, so I'll tell you what, I'll do you a deal. I'll do it for the same price in 5 years, and you're going to drive. And he was like, what? I said, well, I'll give you a fixed price now. He was like, what? How old are you? I'll give you a fixed price now, but you've got to guarantee me that you get me through my driving test, because I want out of this village. So we've done a deal, shook hands, and that was it. Job done.
Brilliant.
So,
That is so good.
Grafter, negotiator.
Constant.
Yeah, even at that age.
I love it. I love doing. That's why I love what I do. I love construction, because that's pretty much about like they used to call me the deal maker. That is about putting deals together. Whether you're selling to a client, that's a deal. That's a negotiation. You know, like a small construction contract's 50 pages for like a JCT minor works. Like the complicated ones go to hundreds of pages. But if you're buying from a subcontractor, that's a proper negotiation. That's like, I love it. That's like, yeah, that's a bit of me. Doing deals, making money.
So
that's what I like doing deals and making money.
What trade were you in?
So fencing and then scaffolding as well.
Right.
So yeah, I never done my tickets, but I've put up some pretty big jobs. Struck some even bigger ones. Fell through 8 floors once.
Did you?
Yeah, in the middle of Bedford. Yeah.
Survived, obviously.
Well, I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah, but did you have any like?
Do you know what?
Broken bones?
No, I had a few bruises, like instantaneous bruises. We were striking a building, and one of the labourers was
What does
coming
that mean?
by,
Striking?
taking the scaffold down.
Oh right.
And one of the labourers was coming by and taking some of the gear out, and he took some of the transoms out, and I stood on one, and it just slid, and I just went bang.
Wobbled down.
Yeah, wobbled.
Oh God.
So Yeah. But I had my trusty Reebok Classics and my cut off Versace shorts on.
I can totally see you in the Reebok Classics. Oh. So then how long were you in construction for, or in that industry before you went, because you were self-employed the whole time, right?
So I was self-employed for a while. So I worked on the tools for a while and then decided, you know what, this is not for me. So I put myself through college. I did like ONC, HNC at college.
What's that?
So Ordinary National Certificate. So for people that didn't go to uni.
Oh, right.
Uni, I didn't do A-levels, didn't go to uni. That was not a pathway I wanted to take. I was interested in earning money.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen that I could earn good money with my hands, and I was like, I can sit in the classroom for another 3 years. I didn't want to be in that one. I don't that's not me. But I did realise, thankfully, probably through my first ever real, he wasn't a mentor, he was my ex-wife's best friend's husband.
Right.
But he was a QS for a house builder.
What's a QS?
Quantity surveyor.
Right, okay.
Money person, money and contracts. And he said, look, all the stuff you do, you've clearly got a really good business brain. But your body is only going to get you so far.
Yeah.
Your body, like some people think of your body being a vehicle for your head. You're burning your body out before you're going to burn your brain out. You need to try and think about what you're doing. So I put myself through college, and it was really bizarre because all my college work was all written out and it was a nightmare because I'm really anal about presentation. I know we said we can't talk about anal, but I'm really anal about presentation. I had to get it in there somewhere. Don't ever tell me not to do something. So I would literally write all my college, but I was on site during the day, so I left it at the night time. So I was doing my college work. I got good grades at college. Because I wanted to be there. I was paying for my own place, but there was a lot of people there that were there because their company was put them there, and it was they were just the divs that just didn't want to get on with it. They couldn't see the opportunity they'd been given, and I did fall out with a few of them. A few straighteners with them, just fucking.
I'm not
she's
surprised.
Gonna be an idiot. Just fucking go and sit back.
Don't waste our time.
Yeah. And it was really interesting because one of our lecturers actually got exposed as being a fraud. Yeah, he was teaching stuff he wasn't qualified to teach.
No.
Yeah, it was really bizarre. Yeah, and I knew because I was training at Lang's, and the stuff I was being taught on site by setting out engineers, this geezer was telling me was wrong. I'm like, these fuckers are building structures around the world, and they're putting them in the right place at the right height. How can that be the polar opposite of what you're telling me? And he just kept saying, "Look, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about." And it was only when I bumped into Chris Lawrence, who I'm really good mates with, who we met at college, he actually went the whole 9 yards and proved that this guy he wasn't a doctor for a start, and he weren't qualified either. So,
well done, Chris.
Yeah.
So I put myself through college, and then when I'd done that, I was still working on the tools, and it was alright. I enjoyed it, but it was hard. It was hard to make money on price work, and it was the winter time as well, which didn't help. And I was talking to my ex-wife's husband, and he was like, "Why don't you just put your CV out?" I was like, "What the fuck's a CV?" Like, what? And I actually said to him, "What have French cars got to do with my situation?" And he was like, "What are you talking about?" I went, "Well, it's a car, isn't it? It's a French car CV." He was like, "No, it's a curriculum vitae," which I now know what it is. And he'd just been given a laptop computer with his job, which to be fair was about that thick.
Yeah, massive.
It was huge. This thing was needed its own power supply, and he helped me write out a CV. And I was like, okay, that's great. I've got this thing. It's on the screen. How do I because I didn't even know what a printer was, none of that stuff, because it just wasn't in my world. So he printed out some copies, and he went, "I'm going to send it to a recruitment consultant." It's like, a what? What are you on about? What's a recruitment consultant? It's almost like it was like a Frenchman talking Swahili to a Dutchman. It was like he didn't have a clue what he was talking about. So anyway, he was like, okay. So he sent it off to this person that he knew, who he used to recruit staff for his business, and they got me 4 interviews. And I remember, even now, if I do something, I will anchor how I feel, so that if I go back into the future, I can remember how I felt at that time. But I can remember sitting there.
What do you mean anchor how you feel?
So I haven't done it today, but before I did my first live summit in Milton Keynes, I actually recorded a voice note to a video of me how I felt about the event before I went on stage.
Why'd you do that?
So that if it's a failure, I can go back and go, well, actually, okay, that's why. And if it's a fucking rip-roaring success, I can go, well, that's how I felt about it.
Wow.
Because you can't do that after you've done the event because you're not the same person.
No, you're
and
not.
it doesn't matter whether it's an awkward conversation with a partner, you know, going and seeing someone who's had a life-changing illness. It doesn't matter what it is, it changes you. So just by doing that, it's like, okay, I can go back and I'll go back and listen to that because it keeps me really grounded.
Or is it just something you created?
I learned it from one of my mindset coaches.
Did you?
Yeah, so yeah, I've got a few different people that I work with for different stuff. One of them's mindset. I work with 4 different coaches, yeah.
This is fascinating. I mean,
but I coach and mentor people, and I very much believe one of my strongest values. I would never ask someone to do something I wouldn't do myself. So if I'm saying to people, right, that's the investment to work with me, what fucking right have I got to do that if I'm not living what I'm actually saying? That's why I work with our coaches, because I want to be like, none of us know how good we can be. Like, I can see, ever since I started listening to a podcast, how big your business is going to be. Not how big you think it's going to be, how fucking big it's going to be. I can see that. I can visualise it.
How big do you think it's going to be, Richard?
I'll have that conversation with you off. Okay. But the same with Nicole.
Yeah, I agree.
I know exactly, and that's why I'm so excited to work, like, quite deep stuff we're doing together, because I know where that's going to end up. But that's as a result of doing the work on ourselves.
How long have you been working with coaches?
Mentors, probably, like, unofficial mentors all my life. Proper coaches, probably 6 or 7 years, maybe, something like that.
Can I ask what kind of style you like to, like? All coaches offer
classical. I'm very much
the OG.
I'm definitely. Do you know what? I had to ask someone what that meant because people keep calling me it, and I was like,
"What, OG?"
Yeah, and I was like, "Why are you calling me own goal?" Like, what? Like, that's what I thought it meant. I mean, I hate football, but my brother's in professional sport and professional football. Yeah, so I know a little bit of the lingo, but like, I just tune out. I'm like, I'd rather go and listen to Kate Bush or something and watch a game of football, and I fucking can't stand Kate Bush, so that tells you how much I don't like football.
So lots of coaches have lots of different styles.
Yes.
Is there a particular style that works better for you, that pushes you, that you recognise?
Wow, that's not a question I've ever been asked. So well done, first of all, because that's a really good question.
Thanks.
Is there a particular style? I'm a very visual person, like off the scale. Like 75% of people are visual learners. I'm off the scale visual. So I love reading. I love listening to books. I did 110 books last year, like written and listened to. But I'm very much a visual learner, so infographics is why so much of my course is like story, but also infographics. So for me, it's about actually bringing something to life. So if somebody wants to explain something to me, bring it to life. Tell me, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What was the experience like? Who can you show me that's gone through that I can go, okay, I can, because I won't believe anything I got taught by one of my first ever mentors, believe nothing of what you hear and only 5% of what you can physically read or see, and you won't go far wrong. So I'm always like, well, show me someone that's walked that path, show me someone that's done that. And I'll go and work with like most of the people I've worked with no one's ever heard of, but I've worked with them for a specific thing. Like the guy that I worked with on my TEDx talk, no one's ever heard of him, but he's curated hundreds of TEDx talks. I don't give a fuck. I'm not paying for his ego. I'm paying for someone who's actually done that thing that I want to learn.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, haven't we? About the same coaches and anybody. You've got to walk the walk. There's so much bullshit out there.
Yes.
Yeah, there is.
There's so much.
Yeah, but it's the confidence, it's the balls on it, the audacity to say, I've fucking done, like, come and pay me to do this.
Yeah, I know, they've got more minerals than a fucking salt cellar.
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
One day Carmen will get them.
Yeah, Carmen's a bitch.
It is a bitch. I find it really interesting because you know that I work with Liz, my coach, who you've met, who you both
I met last week,
Oh, she's a legend.
Who is amazing, but I've also had coaches, mentors throughout my career and throughout my wild bird life as well that have tried to push me, but in the way that doesn't work. They're not reading me.
Yeah, I really struggle with this because I've only had one mentor, which is Debbie Lewis. Or coach. Yeah, she coached. She's the only time I've ever experienced a coach. and I've never had a mentor because there's nobody in the beauty industry I can go to. So I've really struggled. So I feel like I give a lot to other people, but I haven't got that for myself. And then I'm like, I don't even know what I'd need or what I want. And then there was a company called Action Coach. They reached out, were trying to help me, and I really respect them for what they're doing, but it just wasn't the right fit for me, and it felt very forced into sales. And it was like, I'm going to work with you on a percentage basis of franchise, and then I'm going to push you to sell these and convert salons. And I was like, no, it wasn't the path that I wanted to go down. The reason I create franchise for a very different reason, to provide, especially women, but like really support women having their own business and help them, be fully self-sufficient as such. But there were so many reasons, but that wasn't it. Like, it wasn't all about just sales. So yeah, I've got Tim, but I haven't started working with him yet. But I just don't really understand. I'm not really part of this world of mentoring. I feel like I'm missing out.
I think potentially. I think for two reasons. I think undoubtedly you are probably missing out, but the world is missing out as well. And I'll explain why in a minute. But going back a level, there's a fundamental difference between coaching and mentoring, because coaching is about asking somebody the right questions that are very specific to that person, to get them to bring out of them what they can do.
I just felt like I came away with a bigger to-do list every time I'd had a session. I was like, oh God, here we go, more work to do, It was just,
Yeah. Whereas mentoring is, you need somebody that is 2, 5, 10, 20 steps on that journey. Now, you made the interesting point about there's no one in my industry, but you're in the industry of being a business.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. So you want someone that actually can that's been, not necessarily gone from bootstrap to like £1 million plus turnover business, but somebody that's definitely gone from where you are now to the next step. But in business, they don't necessarily need to know your industry and your, like, the micro niche you operate in. They just need to know what is the business model, what are the metrics, what are the key result areas, and where do you want to go, and what is the roadmap to do that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think because the industry is the only thing I've known for so long, and I know that I need to step out of that now. And, well, that's why I'm doing it in the franchise world. But yes,
I think it's interesting with coaches as well. A lot of it depends on chemistry. I'm just going to revisit something.
It's all about it,
you said, I'll tell you why the world is missing out on Amy.
Yeah, so for two, I think you could get further faster by working with people, undoubtedly, but I think also you've got an awful lot of value that you could actually share to help other people get to, because trust me, there's a fucking lot of people looking at you right now going, I wish I was there. I wish I was that person. How did that person get to where they are now?
Yeah. And I feel like we've talked about mentoring or coaching in the future, haven't we? And I would love to do it, but I'm just not ready yet. I feel like I need to be... Yeah, I will know. And I want to do it when I've got even more information.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I would say to that, I understand why, and you've got to be comfortable in your own skin to do it. But the thing is, you're here right now. So you're here. When you get that information, you're going to be there, but these poor people are still going to be back here. So you're almost in danger of actually getting to the point where, Richard Branson's an amazing coach and mentor, but there's very few people that would get value from being coached or mentored.
Or could afford him.
Because he's here and most people are here. So just be mindful that you don't want to get too far down that well, it's also
intimidating as well, because if you've got people,
it's a massive part of it.
Yeah, if you've got people starting out, and I think there's an element. My two hurdles with mentoring and coaching is the cost. When you're bootstrapping a business, I know it's an investment, I know it's what you should spend money on, but when you're bootstrapping it, like, do I spend money on salary to drive the revenue, or me? Like, where do I put it? When I'm in that position now, we probably could afford it. I'd make it. I'd find a way of affording it.
You'd find a way to do it.
And then time.
The thing is that working with anybody, they will get you much further faster, and the results will provide and will pay for that investment. And taking that back a step, the people that are setting themselves up in business now, if they've got, I don't know, say like £5,000 to set up their business, and they invested, I don't know, £1,000 in a 12-week program with you on Zoom, you could save them £1,000 in this conversation, £5,000 in that conversation, 20 grand in that conversation. That's going to get them much further up their hockey stick than going and putting £1,000 into a load of products that are going to sit on the shelf because they don't have any customers.
Yeah, I get that. Yes, and it is intimidating as well, isn't it? It is intimidating finding someone that's superior or that you see as superior.
But leadership is. I collapsed at an event. I'm around 47. So probably 15 years ago, I had 25 direct reports and a team of close to 1,000 people across sites. And I stood in Pizza Express in Bishop Stortford.
This year or last year?
No, 25 years ago. To deliver a team talk to this whole team of people. And I stood up and I was like, what the fuck? I'm responsible for a team this big. I could COVID. I was blacked out. Bang. I was on the floor. I've never told anyone. There you go.
Didn't know that.
Wow. I don't even know why I just confessed to her.
So how old were you?
I guess I must be comfortable, right?
Yeah. How old were you then?
I was mid-20s. I went
Such
from
a responsibility
that's a
at
massive
that time.
amount of pressure,
Yeah.
right?
So coming back to that CV.
Yeah.
So we've kind of gone full circle. So Andrew faxed off my CV to a recruitment company. They got me 4 interviews. I'd 4 lined up. I was meant to go to one on the Monday, and they rescheduled it to the Friday. The one on the Tuesday, I left 3 hours to get from home to where it was for a 2-hour journey, and the M25 was a massive accident. I got there an hour and a half late. The guy that I was meant to see had to leave to go into London for a meeting, so I got interviewed by someone else, and they offered me the job as a site manager. I drove back from the interview. I went to see my mum, and I remember standing in they had a great big picture window in their old house, and said they've offered me this job, and I was so excited because they gave me a laptop and a digital camera. This Olympus digital camera was about that big. It was huge. It was like 2 megapixels. The shittest phone probably has got a better camera now.
But did you feel like you made it at that point?
I felt like I'd arrived.
Yeah.
I felt the dog's bollocks. And my mum looked at me and she went, I'll give it a week. You'll fuck it up.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, wow. And for a lot of years, I was really angry about that.
Yeah.
But through the work I've done on my mindset and understanding my brain, I now realise that actually, I don't know where that came from. I'm not really bothered now where it came from. But it served me in a different way because it was the fucking fuel for my life.
Yeah.
It was like,
it was
fuck
like
you, I'm
1,000 litres of
So I'm
fuel.
gonna prove you wrong.
Yeah.
So to come back to answer your question, so I started as site manager. I was site manager for a year and I got made contracts manager. And on one of our projects, my QS was ill. He was in his late 60s, and I had to basically take over the quantity surveyor's job. So then they were like, right, we need to teach you quantity surveying. So I then learned over the next 3 years to do quantity surveying. And then went from site manager, contracts manager, QS, managing QS, operations manager, and then 10 of us were doing a management buyout, and we were basically using bank-backed finance to buy the shares in the company. And we were probably about 2 weeks away from doing the deal, and the chairman said, "You're not doing it.
Why?
I'm not allowing you all to put your houses on the line to do it." And it's really weird because I ended up, I'll tell you why in a minute, but it essentially came down to, in order for us to be able to do that, we needed to grow that business. We had quite a goodish brand. We were right. We were quite contractual. We didn't fuck about. If someone owed us money, we wanted it and we wanted to pay them now. You know, we used to sell on 14 to 30, and we used to buy on 90 to 120 days. So we had a massive buffer, and all of our terms that I'd written were all set. Everything was set up for cash preservation. Yeah. So it was a really good business. But he wouldn't allow us to grow it because he couldn't handle the fact that what we've been sort of told now is that like we would have had to grow it, and he would have been like, oh my god, why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
So I left. And I went consulting for a number of years. Got chased out to. So I went up to Liverpool. So I was working for a venture capitalist who was an accountant. He used to go around buying construction companies, but he was buying businesses for a broker for £1 that were like quite often distressed. And you know, it's got like 45 construction businesses. But it was almost kind of like a lifestyle business. You know, he'd got 6 kids, they'd all got like lease cars for the companies, there was management charges flying around left, right and centre, and it's classic GIGO. You know, garbage in, garbage out. With a business that big, with that amount of different things, you can hide a lot of shit. And I started to unravel a lot of the shit. And he bought a company in Liverpool for £1 from a family that was basically mullered to the tune of about 7 million quid.
What do you mean?
It was skint. They had revenue 1.7 million for VAT. They had £1 million in employee tax. They've got about 4.5 million quid off subcontractor bills they've not paid.
Right, so that's why they sold it for £1 because of how much debt it had.
They knew that. They didn't disclose that when they sold it, so he bought it for £1.
How can they not disclose that information?
Because, so here's the thing. People that buy businesses for £1 don't want to spend 50 grand on bank grade due diligence because they've spent £1.
Yeah.
That's their mindset. Well, I've risked £1 because they don't understand like the level of risk that they're actually taking.
But if they're buying that limited company, they're buying the debt as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I went off up to the north to go and meet him, and met the outgoing owner on day one, and was like, okay, nice. Like, what's the situation? And he was ill. He wasn't long for this world. And it was a family-run company. So his wife was head of accounts. His daughter worked in the accounts department. So I was like, okay, right, I need to meet the department heads. I need to like look at the numbers. Can you get me the asset list? Can you get me the P&L, the creditors, debtors? Just get all the printouts for me. And I want to see like all the department heads. So I sat in the boardroom with the head of estimating whilst I'm meant to be getting these reports run off. And I'm having a conversation with this guy. And I said to him, so like, what's the pipeline looking like? And he was like, what? And this proper like tumbleweed moment. Like, what do you mean what? What's your pipeline look like? What pipeline of opportunities have you got coming in that you're going to be pricing? What stuff are you in negotiation with? What stuff have you secured but haven't got a contract yet? And it's just got no comprehension of what I was talking about. So I was like, that was like red flag number 1. So like, okay. So I said, talk to me about markup. Like, where's the market at right now? Because you do a lot of work that's not quite by negotiation, but almost. So what's the market like in terms of prices? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, like, are you pricing up? Are you pricing down? Are you winning more than you're losing? What's your strike rate? And it was the most bizarre one-sided conversation I think I've probably ever had with a professional in construction. Just didn't have the answers to the questions, and they were, you know, they weren't like super deep. I'm the Brummie that from 8 years old. You know, I'm not asking technical detailed questions. This is basic business metrics, and they couldn't answer them. So I said, listen, I need you to go away and produce a report on like your estimating, like how long have you been there? I can't remember, we've been there a number of years. So I was like, right, I want a report by the end of the day, so I've got an idea on what the future looks like. And he got up to leave, and as he opened the door to walk out, the lady from the accounts came in, and she'd got like pages of handwritten notes. I was like, okay. I said, that's not exactly what I asked for. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. Maybe it was my accent. But what I would like is the Sage printouts. I'd like the P&L, I want the asset list, I want the creditors and debtor list. I just want it printed out of Sage. I don't need any handwriting stuff or anything like that. It's great, but it's not what I asked for. It's like, I don't know how to use it. What? I said, I don't know how to use it. We don't even turn that thing on. So they've got Sage that they're paying for. They don't even use it. All their books are manual. So I was like, right, okay. So I'd taken my PA with me, so I got her to literally bash all this data into Excel, just literally sorted it by value of what the balance was. I said, right, I want the contact details for all these people. So they went and got the contact details, and I just hit the phone for an hour, and I just phoned. Well, what I'd allowed for was an hour in between meetings. I spent 4 hours on the phone, because where they'd got a balance of 200k to one subby, the balance was £800,000. Just for one subcontractor. There was another one, the balance was 150 grand, it was over 500. And I think I got about 6 or 7, because these are not 5-minute phone calls. You can imagine I'm phoning up saying, yeah, I've been bought in.
And they're like, thank God, like, right, brilliant. This is how much you actually owe me.
You owe me a fuck ton of money, and by the way, what are we doing? Because it's taken us a year to get to this point. So I was like...
So what happened?
Oh, okay. So, loads of meetings, loads of, like, confrontation. there was no recovery strategy from it. It was so mullered you just couldn't do anything with it. So the finance director set up a conference call with the business owners and the finance director, who'd not even been into the building at this point. Lovely lady who I now speak to a lot. We reconnected on Clubhouse during lockdown.
Oh, good old Clubhouse.
Yeah, so the long story short, we had to appoint an administrator. It was mullered. So I had to sit and tell all the staff that, like, this is the situation.
They must
this is
have
what's
known.
happened.
They must have known something was going to come from that.
Yeah, but have you ever heard the phrase, it's always a messenger that gets shot? So I had quite a lot of hostile meetings. I had phone call. I had people phone me and tell me they knew what hotel I was staying in.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it wasn't nice. So we appointed an administrator. The administrator sent letters out to all the creditors. So I'd got people phoning me up threatening to kill me and all sorts. So I was like, right, fuck this. And I've got a company credit card I'd got about 6 for the different businesses. I just booked a flight and I was like, right, I just phoned up. I said, right, where can I go? I want the next flight out of the UK. So literally I flew to Egypt. I went to Luxor. So I was sitting in a cafe in this like little back street on like the morning after I'd flown out there. I was sitting there, I was sitting having a fag and a coffee, and I'd got, I mean, I guess nowadays you'd call it a burner phone, but because my phone was a company phone, I didn't want to take it with me, so I just bought a phone from Tesco's, just like a pay-as-go phone. So I was sitting there, and the only other person who had it, even my parents didn't have his phone number, was the finance director, because I felt really sorry for her, because she'd actually been put on as a guarantor for some of the loans, but she didn't even know it.
Oh God.
Yeah, one of the other directors had put her on as a guarantor for some of the loans.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awful.
Yeah.
That's giving me goosebumps.
And she was the daughter, or she was...
No, she was nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
She was the
Poor
finance
soul.
director.
Just a poor soul.
Yeah.
And signed paperwork that she
Sacrificial
didn't
lamb.
even know.
She didn't even know. It wasn't even. She'd not actually inked the signature. Someone had actually done it on her behalf.
Oh my God.
So she was the only other person who had that phone number.
What happened?
So sitting in this cafe, just like having this rank cup of coffee. It was a bit like that fucking Starbucks I got on the way here, to be fair.
Costa.
And
Don't
Costa.
diss Starbucks, please.
Don't diss the Starbucks.
It's your fave.
To be fair, Starbucks is naughty. I do love a Starbucks. That's how Gemini's I've got to progressive, because like it's like styling comes up.
Thanks,
£4.20. Like, you've had breakfast. So I was sitting in a cafe, and this phone rang, and I was picked up and answered it because I thought it's Georgina, and like we needed to, like, because there's lots of, I don't know if you've ever been involved in an insolvency, but there's lots of moving parts. There's lots of things that need to get, and also I was worried about her. You know,
Yeah.
we worked together. We'd worked together for like 2 or 3 years. You know, and I felt responsible, even though it was all I'd done is go in there and say this is mullered.
But that
I
person
still
that
felt responsible.
sold that company for £1,
Yeah.
that has
they
got them
knew.
in all this debt, they knew
Yeah,
exactly
they
what
knew.
they were doing.
Yeah, they know. So I answered the phone because I thought, well, that's a bit weird, because it's like 8 o'clock in the morning as well. It was like proper early. And I don't think at that point I even consciously thought like what time the UK time was. I was just like, right, okay, I need to speak to her. And this voice just said, if you think you can escape what you've done, think again, stand up and turn around. And I can still feel how I felt when I did it. And I stood up and turned around. There was a geezer like that. And he said, you might think you can go to Egypt and escape this, but we'll always find you. And he walked off up the street.
So this
What happened to the one? Why is it he had her phone?
They'd got her phone, yeah.
Where is she? Is she okay?
She's in the UK. She's right now, yeah.
This is horrific.
Yeah, that's why even now it still feels really raw.
Yeah.
So, and you asked about like coaches and stuff.
Yeah.
So I came home, there was like dealt with all the questions for the administrator, gave them every bit of information I could. They were absolutely fine with it, but there was some of the biggest creditors actually had got credit insurance, so they didn't actually end up losing any money.
Yeah.
But they were some of the ones that were the most hostile towards us because they've got a lot of resources. You know, some of these businesses like were in the millions and millions of pounds a week in sales, like the services they provided. So yeah, they weren't They weren't very nice. Some of the services they provided gave them links into other parts of the UK business structure where they've got access to information that can be quite beneficial if you're trying to track people, which is not very helpful. And actually, I think it's fundamentally wrong that they should be able to access that information. So yeah, it was quite challenging. So I went back on the tools. I was like, fuck this. I don't need it. I've like worked my bollocks off to basically to build my career to this point, and in a heartbeat it could just get dashed. I was like, I'm out of this.
But also at this point you had a family as well. Like that weight must have contributed to that decision to go, no thank you, I'm sorry.
One of the calls I had, I've never shared this with anyone, was a text message sent to my BlackBerry with a picture of Beaudesert Lower School in Leighton Buzzard.
No way.
Yeah.
This is where I was at school.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You said you wanted to get to know me.
Yeah.
Oh, Richard.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So
This is what people don't get, is people meander into the property industry or the construction industry, and everything's great when the money's flowing. But if the money stops flowing, there's a very, very dark underbelly to construction, which has got massive links to organised crime.
Yep.
Which means that you can have the best contract in the world, but the rule book gets torn up at that point, and the gloves come off.
Yeah.
And people will do anything.
And if they're owed money,
yeah, they don't care. They're not interested in what the contract says. They just want their money.
I am learning this, like with the work that we are doing together. Not that anything that, but the stories that you have shared and the stories of other people that are part of your network that have shared. It can be brilliant, as you say, but also can be really, really dark.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's high. It's high reward, but it's high risk as well. And that's
it's
what
sharky.
That's
like
what
it feels sharky.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't get. Is that it can be. Yeah.
So you went back to the tools.
Yeah, so I went back on the tools.
like literally scaffolding.
No, fencing.
Fencing.
Yeah, I went back fencing. Yeah.
Just to get away from it, no stress.
I just wanted
money don't matter when you've got all that going on.
I just didn't care. I literally didn't care. So the company owed me, I think it was about 47 grand, because we'd got care home, we'd got new builds, we were building blocks of flats, we were doing massive council contracts, we're doing all sorts of like different types of projects across all of the different businesses. And when you're trying to manage that amount of diversity across a group of businesses, sometimes the supply chain gets a bit tight. So like on occasion we'd buy materials or we'd put stuff on a personal credit card, and then when the money came in it just get paid back. And we've been doing it for years. It was absolutely fine. We'd gone through 2 HMRC audits. They were absolutely fine with it.
Yeah.
Because obviously from like it can look like
flow.
a director's loan and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got to be pretty clear with it. So we'd gone through all that, and then when that happened, I got hit with basically, we can't pay this bill. So I've got 46.5 grand worth of personal credit card debt.
So not only had you're going to have to leave this industry, or not this industry, but this job, you had all of this aggro, and you were scared.
Yeah,
were you scared?
Do you know what? I don't think I was ever scared for me. I was scared for the people around me.
Of course, and for this lady that had.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I was really worried about it. Yeah. I cried.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
More than one occasion.
Yeah.
Was the weight of the responsibility, although it's not your responsibility, it's that.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. So I went back on the tools. I worked on the tools for a good few years, and it was really funny because one of the companies I subbed work off of as a labour-only fencing contractor, I'd worked for them as a labour-only subby probably like 15 years before, but when the father-in-law owned it, and he was like, I went from being like proper Tim Lewin wanker in a suit, pinstripe suit, cufflinks, all the fucking gear, no idea, to being on the tools. I lost 2 stone in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I bet.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think at the end of the first month, I phoned him to say like, what's the crack with my invoice? Because I've not even got a UTR number. Because ironically, because of Brexit, it was easier to come into the UK as a no one, get a UTR number, than it was as an English taxpaying citizen to get one. So I couldn't get any wages. So I was like, fuck, literally, I was living,
How do I
right?
get the money?
Right, this is how about, like, Gemma talks about the stone brand of like that blue and it being Tesco value.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know why that is so important to me. but I think I might have just discovered part of the answer sitting here.
Yeah.
Because at that point in time, my diet was Tesco value bread.
Yeah.
Tesco value plum tomatoes on toast, because I could get 2 meals out of one can, and a can was 4p. Because I had to put diesel in the van to go to work.
Yeah.
If I didn't, I couldn't keep going, and I'd got
you couldn't get paid.
And I'd taken 3 guys on to work labour only as subbies to me, so I'd got to pay them, but I wasn't getting any money in. So I did that for a good while. And then I was doing a project, and I'd go all over the country. I wasn't bothered. I'd go. We did a whole housing estate in Norwich. No one else would go near it. Like about 1,500 houses. We did every bit of fencing on that site. It was like a 3-hour journey. I was like, I don't care. I was beasting geezers, getting them up at like 3-4 hours in the morning to drive. I was like, don't care. Just get in the van and go to sleep. I don't give a fuck. Just go and sleep. I'm not bothered. I don't have to pay you till we get started. That was my thinking. But yeah, it was pretty hardcore. And I got up one morning, and it was like, I don't know where I was going. I was going somewhere, and it must have been quite nearby, because it was 5:30 in the morning, and I was still in the bathroom brushing my teeth and doing my mouthwash, and I got my phone was in my pocket, and somehow I pocket dialed the geezer I used to work for. He used to be my general manager when I was ops manager, and I could hear a phone ringing, because at that time in the morning it's definitely silent. I was like, what the fuck's that noise? And I realised I'm belling this geezer. So I'm like, fuck. So I just ended the call. Anyway, I left it like an hour or so, and I went, I'm really sorry, I've phoned you. Anyway, about 9 hours in the morning, he phoned me, and I was like working, I was on a break or something, so I didn't hear it. So I phoned him back at tea break, and he was like, what are you up to? And I told him, he was like, are you fucking serious? I went, what? He said, are you fucking serious? He went, with your brains, you're digging holes. He went, this is mental. He said, come and meet me for dinner in Cambridge, I'll shout you to dinner. So I went and met him, and he'd got a construction consultancy company providing construction, like contracts management, commercial management, pre-tender stuff, to like loads of different construction businesses. And he was like, what are you earning a week? So I told him, he was like, if I could give you a third of that for a day, would you give me 3 days a week? I was like, let me think about that for a second. So we struck a deal. So I was meant to do 3 days a week. In the first week I did 6.5 days. And then I worked for about 5 clients through him for about a month, and then he'd got a client he was working with in Essex, and all of a sudden the demand went up. So he'd gone in there to look at a couple of opportunities initially, and then realised that they needed like commercial procedures bringing in, operational procedures. So they brought me in to do that. So I was there for about 18 months. It was a proper baptism of fire, because they literally got no processes and systems. So we brought all that stuff in, and they said to him, look, we want this geezer to work for us directly. And he was like, well, he's a consultant for me. He's like one of my highest paid consultants. He went, I'll buy him out of his contract. So he paid the consultant, to buy me out of contract.
Wow.
And then we agreed a package, and I stayed there for about 3.5 years. Nearly died 4 times while I was there.
How come?
Because it was 85 miles away, so I was leaving home at like 3:30, 4 in the morning in tracksuit bottoms, getting there, going for a run around the industrial estate, jumping in the shower in the office, jumping in the shower, at my desk for 7. I had like 25 mil P&L responsibility, and it was fucking insane. Like the geezer I loved the family to bits. They're a proper nice family. They come from East London. They come from like fuck all. Yeah. And the dad like literally went from being a plasterer to being worth about 50 million quid in like a few years. But he was proper savvy, and then he handed the business over to his son. And then it was a bit of a different dynamic, let's probably just say. But yeah, it was good, but it was proper stressful. You know, it was one of them businesses where you could say, we just won this contract for £1 million, there's 300 grand profit in it, and then the next thing they'd go and spend the 300 grand before we'd done the job and earned the money. So yeah, it was challenging. I had a lot of responsibility, which I kind of like relished. I enjoyed it, but people quite often say to me, like, you're always like doing stuff, you're always working, it must be really amazing to love what you do. And I'm not sitting here saying it's not, because I would hate to be in a job that I don't like. I couldn't do it. I'd love what I do, but it can be a bit of a curse. And I know you've alluded to this before as well, about actually, because you love what you do, it doesn't even feel like work. So the boundaries get massively
you end up
skewed.
so much. Yeah.
So yeah, I had three episodes where they thought I was dying of a heart attack, and then the fourth one, I was driving to the office. I was on the M25, and I don't know if you've ever done a car journey and you get out of the other end and you're like,
I do that all the time.
I don't even remember that.
I don't know how
did I even get in?
Yeah, it's like robotic. I do that all the time. It's really bad.
So I was driving around the M25. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and it was in the days before our family had live 360 tracking. So let's just say I was probably the wrong side of 100 miles an hour, and I had a blowout in the outside lane.
Oh,
and I was spun. So yeah, I had to be recovered off the motorway. So it was pretty lucky. So,
very lucky.
So
wasn't
yeah,
your time, that's for sure.
do you know what? I'm a massive believer in that.
Yeah, me too. Your time, you've got more stuff to do, haven't you?
Oh god, yeah. I'm not even started. I'm not even like 5% of how good I want to be, and the amount of people that I want to help. So.
Hence the training that you're doing now, right?
Yeah,
you're using all those skills that you've learned.
Yeah, skills, knowledge, and experience.
I love the strap line. I will keep you out of prison.
Yeah.
It's fucking powerful. Who came up with that?
So true.
Me.
Was it you?
Yeah,
It's really powerful because all you'll do, you will only attract the people that give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not interested in anyone else.
No.
I get sent pictures all the time with fucking helmets. I got sent one this morning. The geezer's got a treble ladder out of the back of his van, carrying a bucket of asphalt up a fucking ladder, and someone pushing a shopping trolley underneath it. Like, what part of fucking stupid are you?
Yeah.
You can't. I've got an acronym called FOCUS. And there's a few people on this planet called oxygen thieves. And if I meet one, that's what I end up just saying, look, just focus. Fuck off because you're stupid. Because there are some people you just cannot educate. Because they don't want to be educated. They don't want to improve. They've either always done it this way, or well, the client won't pay for scaffold, or well, health and safety's not for me. Brilliant, crack on. It's just your life, but it's also your funeral.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't get.
So tell me about the transition into PMB. How and when did it come about? I know it's your brainchild. You had a year of it in creating it, in testing.
Yeah.
But tell me about that, the transition into that.
My journey in transitioning. Wow, that's not a topic I thought we'd cover today. So it started on a retreat, actually. And I do love a retreat. And then not a holiday, I'm just putting it out there.
We want this, don't we? We want retreats in our life.
I want a business retreat.
So two of probably the most influential people in the second phase of my life, if you like, are Tony Gargan, who's my speaker coach, and Andy Hubbard, who's one of my mentors in this phase of my life. And they both said to me that the knowledge that you've got could help so many people who are like so far back down that line. If you only gave them like 0.01% of what you know, they're still going to know 100% more than they know right now. And I was like, really? Does anybody really want to know that? It's just shit rattling around my Swede. Like, why does anybody want to know that, really? And I don't know, I think they just abused me so much and just beat me so much to the point I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. So I spent 11 months speaking. So I did quite a lot of like testing. So I started going to more like networking events, like in the property space and in the new build space. Like sort of doing a bit of like, I guess you might call it like soft market research. I just asked people questions.
Yeah.
And I didn't very often, like I would always go with like GPS, like not sat nav, gratitude, perspective and service. So thanks, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. Perspective, I'm here to serve you. I've been in construction 40 years, what do you want to know? What can I help you with to get your... And the kind of questions that people were asking me, I was like, right, the answer to that's that. Okay, what? The answer to that's that. Okay, the answer to that. It wasn't, right, I'll go away, I need to go and do fuck tons of research.
Yeah.
It was all like really straightforward stuff.
To you.
Yeah, to me, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd give them the answer, and it was like, okay, maybe they've got something. Maybe that actually people do need to know this stuff. And then because I started answering questions, it's like one of them things. When people know you're the person, it sort of like goes, and you start getting asked more questions. But they weren't really like the level of complexity of question never sort of really escalated. It was just like the volume of questions. So I had a conversation with Tony about it, and she was like, well, you need to teach people this stuff they might want to learn a property strategy, but they need to do it properly. And Andy was sort of saying the same thing. So I went back over, I think I picked about 180 jobs that were in like our digital archive. And I went through them and I looked at the ones that have been really successful in a few different metrics, because we always had like a balanced scorecard. So were the site team happy? Was the client happy? Did we make money?
Yeah.
And if one of those things didn't, why not? And I identified, like, on the ones that we didn't, where one of those outcomes was missing, what was the thing that was missing? And then I looked at the ones that were good, what were the touch points that were always there? And that was like the birthplace of where the course came from.
That's huge. So you've got market research along with data.
No, I just had some conversations. I didn't really
No,
call
it is. No,
research.
it's 100% market research.
Yeah, okay,
You're checking for the demand, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're seeing, right, what do you need? Where is
What's
the gap?
missing?
What's
So
the
that's
knowledge
really
gap?
interesting because I think it's like it is, and I talk about this all the time. And I did a post the other week with a picture of Dolly Parton, and I've got loads of shit about it because I made reference to Double D, and it wasn't like anything to do with a cleavage. It was due diligence, but it was an image to get people to stop.
Yeah.
And it is so true. But demand is one thing, but desire is something totally fucking different.
Yeah.
They might need it, but they don't know they. And this is the problem. It's an unknown.
Yeah.
They don't know that stuff that's going to send them to fucking prison, potentially for gross negligence manslaughter.
I have sat your course. And
You
I
did?
am not in construction at all. Like I've treetop view. I've worked with one client in construction, and that was mega niche. It's like a mind virus. I can't unsee or unlearn any of what you share and the knowledge that you impart on that course. But it's also terrifying.
Yeah, it can be.
Because of the exposure to potential contractors that don't know the things that they're walking into because they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know, and that's the thing. And the crazy thing with it is as well is that, especially like in the day, and I mean this is 2024, so it didn't happen if it's not on social media, right? And the amount of trades that put pictures of like what they perceive to be their really good work on social media, I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 reasons that you go to prison, or a 5-figure fine.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, this is my amazing job. Brilliant. Looks fucking great. But actually, you might have done it 100 times, but if you fall off that roof tomorrow on 101, what's going to happen to your family? Oh, by the way, your insurance will be invalid because you've got no safe working at night.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. They don't get it.
It's absolutely fascinating.
And it's a really unregulated industry, isn't it?
It's like bandit country. And like, the property industry is worse, and the domestic home environment is worse because there is zero bar to entry. And COVID was the worst thing in the world because anybody that had painted their kitchen could go and buy a van, go to Wickes and buy a ladder and call himself a decorator.
And you can get insurance even without a qualification.
Exactly, which is just really insane. So
there's absolutely a need for it, and it's amazing, isn't it? How do you feel about PMB and everything that you've achieved since?
How do I feel about it sitting here today?
Yeah.
It changes every day. You know, this started off as a course that I wrote that was on my computer.
Yeah.
And then when I'd written it, I then spoke to 3 people that were very, very senior in construction. One was an old boss, and 2 were previous mentors. And the reason I'm just taking a moment is because one of those people passed away recently.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
And he was probably the person that I wouldn't say was like the biggest champion, but was the most supportive, but also he would never say, right, you need to do it this way.
Yeah.
He'd be like, just have a think about that. And as a site manager, he was wicked like that. He wasn't one of them, don't get me wrong, I've been in some proper scrapes with a geezer. Talk about like 40 people drinking 50 bowls of red wine on the roof of a building and then trying to get down a ladder. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we had some wild times.
Yeah.
But he was really, really sort of helpful in that initial process. And up until very, very recently, I think, it felt like, yeah, we've got a course, it's a product. The work we've done recently around like the brand, the values, the community stuff, yeah, it feels very different now.
It's huge.
Yeah, I'm getting emotional because, yeah.
You must be proud of what you've done though.
Am I proud of it? I'm not proud of it. I'm proud of the results people have got from implementing it. You know, I've had a call with someone this morning who's fighting against his dad and his brother because he wants to do it the right way, and the other two are like, no, we need to just get on with this. I'm proud for them, the people that are out there trying to do it.
The ones that give a shit.
That's what I'm proud about, and that's what I want my legacy to be. Is about why am I getting so much stuff? That's what I want my legacy to be. Yeah, it is. It's always my time of the month. Is about actually changing the shape of the industry for the better, and actually having like a, because most people have a stereotypical like idea in their head of a builder as this thick twat who's arse cracked hanging out, driving around in a wanked out van with loads of shit on the dash.
Really good. Really good vision.
You know, that's most people. If you ask people to draw a caricature of a builder, that's what it would be. It'd be a square box van, like 20 B&H and a box of matches with a ladder on the roof. And that's what it'd be like.
To those people that think that, come and sit in your mastermind sessions. Come and sit and see what those mentees are saying about what they want to achieve, what they want to do, why they want to be different, because they are not that stereotype.
Yeah, they're the exact opposite.
Oh, and they're amazing. They're all amazing.
Yeah, seeing the results they're getting in their businesses, and it's, for me, it's not always like, it's not always the key tangible things like business metrics that you can put in a spreadsheet. Don't get me wrong, I love a spreadsheet and I love a pivot table and a graph.
Oh, now you're talking my language.
I love a Gantt chart.
I do love a Gantt chart. But it's also about some of the softer stuff, like people that are like now able to go and pick their children up from school.
Yeah.
You know, their mindset has shifted, because skill set without mindset just equals upset, right? You've got to have the right mindset. So people whose mindset is no longer, I'm having a day off today to do paperwork in the office, because they now realise that actually that's work, that's important, they need to do that, so they need to build it into their working week. For me, it's about those sorts of shifts are more important as about the business improvement and the safety improvement and the commercials and all that stuff, because that's what's going to get them a better, more balanced life, and then they're going to be more successful.
I really see like having the exposure to you when you're working with those individuals, one of your passions, which I don't think you've said up until this point, but I see, is your love for developing others and seeing that growth, them change in that time and grow as a person, because you're so invested in their own journeys. I know we hate the words, but you're so invested in what they're trying to achieve. And we ran the avatar exercise, but we got the pleasure of doing it to someone in your group.
We did.
The original in your group, who was the first into your brand.
He's just renewed for another year, I would add.
Yes, he has, along with others. And it was really special because you and Gemma got to see and feel what it's like for them to be part of PMB. Yeah,
that's something I'll never forget.
Absolutely amazing. And it is all about that community, it is all about that family feel, but it's about getting really serious about their businesses and being...
absolutely, yeah. It's not a playground. We're there to talk business and to get results for people, but across the whole, I've actually got like the Wheel of Life on my watch, because it's so important to me, and it is so important, and I'm shit at achieving it. I'm not pretending I'm perfect, but it is about actually trying to achieve balance across all of those 8 sections.
Yeah.
To actually get to the point where, because there's no point smashing it and being a 10 or a 15 or 100, whatever your 0 to whatever number is, in one sector of that wheel, if everything else is at 0.
We might need to explain a bit about Wheel of Life, because I'm not sure that everyone is familiar
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's so good.
So Wheel of Life, and I'm probably get this wrong, so it's about work, it's about family, it's about health, it's about emotional well-being, it's about spiritual well-being, it's about friendships, it's about relationships, and it's also about your relationship with yourself.
So it's 0 to 10 circle.
Whatever the scale can be, whatever you want. It's
the ones that I've done before are 0 to 10, and then you've got each little segment you mark, and then you draw, you line you join the dots up, and you can see the areas of your life that aren't quite as balanced as they should be.
I love that, and I really want to do it.
It's very, very good.
Similar,
I'll
but
send
not
you a
the wheel.
template. It's really
Thank
good.
you.
It's really good. I've got it on my watch. I've got that and some other digital assets that I use for like reprogramming my subconscious. So stuff like the system that I use for speaking is one of them. There's pictures of my children on there. There's pictures of Gemma on there. There's pictures of my friends on there. So that consciously, it's like if I look at that, I'm like, oh, I've not spoken to him for a week. Oh, my will in life, right? I've not checked in with that person. Right, what's going on? And it's really powerful.
All the important things to you.
Yeah, massively, and it's also the important things to other people. Like there was a guy who I know quite well through networking. We're friends, I would say probably. Not really tight friends, but friends more than kind of like, if you think acquaintancy friendship, we're probably there. Sort of just gone from acquaintances to friends.
And I love the dedication to. I just need to tell you where they sit in
because I think it's the context is important to what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So, and I don't normally say stuff that's not got some context to it. So me and Gemma noticed that the guy had not posted on socials for probably a month. And I also know that he's got a day job that's very, very demanding. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's a very, very demanding blue collar job. Which his life is quite often like in the balance, and he was absent, and I just literally just sent him a voice note. I said, "Hi mate, not seen you around much." Gage was on the phone crying. You're the only person out of 30,000 connections I've got on social media that's noticed I'm not there. That's the power of having that wheel of life on my watch.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He's all right. He's just caught up in his own world. But it's almost not. It's important whether he is or isn't okay, but the message in that really is actually about noticing when someone's not there. Because I've lost 2 of my best friends to suicide.
Wow.
That's what my TEDx talks about. You've watched it, haven't you?
Yes, I have. It's massive.
So I'm really hyper vigilant about people that are normally really loud and go quiet, or people where there'll be some kind of like subtle behavioural change.
Yeah, you do it to me all the time.
What's going on for that person?
Yeah.
And also supporting people and saying thank you when someone does something, even if it's just their job.
Yeah.
You know, being grateful that. But I'm super grateful we get to work with you. I'm super fucking grateful that you guys created this podcast, because I've learned so much from listening to you. Yeah, mostly about how not to be. I'm totally joking.
You cheeky bastard.
But no, I've learned loads. Yeah, I've learned loads, yeah. Every day's a school day. If you wake up with the right attitude, you can always learn. But now I'm really grateful for the people I get to work with, massively.
I think gratitude is an incredibly powerful thing.
It changes your world. If you come from everything from a place of gratitude, it changes.
Totally does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It changes your perception. It changes the people you meet. It changes absolutely everything.
I mean, I'm probably the least woo person in the world, but I do increasingly believe in that, in the spiritual stuff. I mean, we had a session last week, didn't we, with someone looking at a funnel for a product.
Yeah.
And I had a call with her yesterday, which should have been about 6 minutes, and she was basically asking what she could do, like as the next step for the work she's doing for us. And I was like, right, fucking stop. Right, where are you at? What are you doing with this? Like, what have you done with the next step? I haven't had time to do it. I'm working on your work. Right, stop. No. What are we doing on your stuff? It's like, really? I said, absolutely. Let's focus on sorting this out, because then we can get you further faster. I'm really grateful to get to work with her. I'm really grateful. I work with people that I want to work with, and that's what I love. Is I wouldn't, like, a lot of people are like, it's my life, it's my rules, the laptop lifestyle in fucking Bermuda, and I don't believe in all that bollocks. I do believe in working with people you want to work with by choice.
I feel like it's actually a big facade, and I think a lot of people are faking it.
Yeah. I got hammered for this the other day, because I did a post last week, I think it was, about why fake it till you make it's bollocks.
I agree.
And it's also really dangerous. I don't care
because
if you want to.
It's so toxic. It's the same as social media, and it causes all of the anxiety and all the problems, because then everyone thinks that they have to be perfect.
Yeah. If you want to go and tell the world you're some amazing fitness fucking guru and you're not, fine. Chances are you're probably not going to kill someone. But if you want to go and tell someone you're a builder and you're not, you could kill someone.
Yeah.
And you might not kill them today. You might kill them because you've not designed the building properly, and there's a roof light that nobody can get to maintain because there's not a principal designer.
Yeah.
It might be that actually you send someone to work on a scaffold that's not safe. But faking it till you make it as a property developer or a project manager is fucking lethal for lots of different people for lots of different reasons. So, yeah.
I think it's really toxic as like a behaviour, massively.
Yeah.
I believe in feeling the fear and doing it anyway. I believe in like pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. I believe in that there is so much to learn and so much to develop in that little growth space, or large growth space, however far you push yourself out. But no, inauthenticity, absolutely no way.
I can't stand it.
No. I did say that's what I thought that we would talk about today, but we actually haven't covered it.
We haven't, have we?
No.
What, authenticity?
We've covered quite a bit of other stuff.
We have, yeah. We did have one question. I put a poll out last night to ask some questions.
We got one.
I'm going to tell you what it was, and you have to guess who it is.
Okay.
Because it's a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Right, okay.
Do you enjoy salad? Do you know who it is?
Do I enjoy salad? Do I know who it is? I think it could be. Can I name them?
Yeah.
It could be my wife.
No.
It could be Liam Spencer.
No.
It could be Heidi Martin. I think he's probably the culprit.
Yeah.
Here's the honest truth about salad. I like salad if it's my salad. So I like iceberg lettuce. I like onion, tomato, chopped carrot, celery. Absolutely fucking love it. I could go to war with like enough celery to fill a garden.
Yeah.
Love it. Don't give me any of that poncy, pretentious fucking European shit. I can't stand it. And I'd rather have a salad than I would a plate of vegetables.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
How would you class as European shit? Are you talking like rocket?
Yeah, all them fucking fake types of lettuce. A lettuce is a fucking iceberg lettuce.
Not even a bit of cost lettuce?
No. Just a simple, like... I would literally... I could live on salad. It would not bother me to live on salad.
Oh, no.
As long as it's got some meat with it, I could not have... I can't have these, like, meals without meat. Like, what is that about? It's not a meal, is it? A meal is, like, a combination of shit together. Well, if the meat's not there, that's not a meal for me.
So it's great.
I'm just saying,
Heidi did also ask about sushi. What's your stance on sushi?
I love stamping all over sushi. I can't stand it.
Do you know?
No, I don't like it. It stinks.
Oh, I love sushi.
What about the non-raw fish sushi?
No, I'm not a fan.
Not bobbed.
Do you like a poke bowl?
What?
Do you like a poke bowl?
We spoke about poking
I'm
earlier.
married. What is a poke bowl?
Is like rice and vegetables, normally chicken or salmon.
Yeah, I'd give
It's
that
like
blast.
normally in the sushi section, but poke bowl's good.
Yeah, I've never tried it. I'd give
Really
it a
good.
blast.
But pan-Asian flavours.
I'm not like set in my ways, but there's a few things I don't like, and since I've been diagnosed with colitis, my relationship with food has changed.
Yeah, there's a lot of triggers, isn't there?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, and
Sugar, is that a big one?
sugar's one. Dairy's a massive one. Like bread. This is being recorded, but I will admit it. But I am in a bit of a weird relationship with that because.
What was bread?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because one of the first things that my colitis nurse said to me was, you can't have steak and red wine together because that just absolutely fucking ruins me.
Really?
Yeah, massively.
You don't drink anyway,
steak and red wine? No, because of my colitis.
Right.
Well, my liver only functions at 10% as well. I don't get drunk.
Huh? You can't get drunk? Like your body won't let you?
I don't get drunk. The last time I had a proper drink was Gemma's dad's 70th birthday, and I had 25 pints of Guinness.
Sorry?
And we had a bottle of champagne to celebrate his birthday as well.
And you weren't pissed?
No, I was sober as a judge.
Why did your liver behave like that?
Because it only functions at 10%. I don't know why.
But I don't understand how that affects you from being drunk, because it will still go in your bloodstream.
Don't know. It's one of the side effects of it, apparently. I didn't know it was a thing. I only found out about 12, 13 years ago, I think it was, when me and Gemma first got together, and she came to stay, and she was like, why'd you get up in the night for a wee? That's just wrong. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've done it for years. It's just part of like my age. It's like, it's really not. But because I don't know, because I had this weird relationship with my age for such a long time, I've kind of never really thought about it. And she was like, you need to go to the doctors, this is wrong. And so I went to the doctors, had like loads of piss tests and blood tests, and like this doctor came back to me and went, yeah, your liver's like functioning at 10%. He said, it's not, you haven't ruined it, it's just it functions at 10%. And that's one of the side effects.
Have you never been able to get drunk?
I don't ever remember being drunk in my life.
Wow.
Like people have these like, people go, oh fucking hell, it was such a good night, but I don't remember it. I'm like, well, how do you know it was a good night? And why don't you remember it? What the fuck? How do you not remember you went out and went out? What? Did you just take your fucking brain out? Show me how to do it. I'd love to be able to do it.
I mean, I've experienced that a few times.
I've had a few wild nights out, but yeah, not ones that I can't can't remember. I don't. Memory's a weird thing though. I don't remember much of my childhood.
Also, memory is a weird thing. Because you have to, it's like deep rooted, and I feel like the older you get, the more you have to pull at those memories.
Yeah, massive. It's like a filing cabinet. The more you put in front of it, it's like that shit's further back.
Yeah, precisely. How did we get onto that from sushi?
I don't know.
I don't know. You asked that sushi.
Thank you, Heidi, for asking those two beautiful questions. I think they're really.
Steak. Just give me steak.
Really, I love a steak.
I love a steak. Steak's the food of gods. I had steak.
Do you know what? I could do a
actually.
podcast just talk about food.
Yeah, same here. We were talking about where we're going to go when we make our Vigilians, aren't we?
Yes, yeah. We have a what?
Make your what?
Vigilians.
All right.
So when me and Nicole started working together, we'd already met a couple of times, hadn't we?
Yes.
We had a really interesting meeting. It was a non-meeting when I was absolutely not at my best. I turned up. I'm just going to meet Rivsy for a chat and a coffee. It wasn't even to do any work. It was just a chat. And we walked in, and there was someone else in the room as well. And then there was this really quiet person in the corner of the room who didn't really speak. And we were chatting, and I was like, just me, no airs and graces. I've got fucking shorts and a t-shirt.
You did, yeah.
And
you're very different. You were very, very different then to now. It was.
Wow, that's interesting.
I didn't know you on the same level as I know you now. Did PMB exist then?
No.
So were you the quiet person in the corner?
Yeah, I was working.
She was diligently key tapping, doing something, and then occasionally she'd just go, and I was like, who the fuck is she? I was literally, that's what went through my head. I was like, who the fuck is she? Well, I think it was like, who the fuck are you, actually? But, like, no, because it's like, because of who it was, no, there was no, like, introductions, this is such and such, or anything. Anyway, like, however long I was there, I can't remember. And he was like, oh, right. And I was like, I'm going now. And he was like, oh, by the way, this is Nicole. I was like, oh, nice to meet you. So we said goodbye instead of said hello.
Yeah, it was really odd, wasn't it?
It was weird, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was when we first met, wasn't it?
And then I can't remember why we started. What kick-started us working together?
Andy Rivers, she told me, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Rivsy. I don't remember why.
What the spark was.
Yeah, it was Rivsy. And that was in November last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then we met on Zoom, and then we met in person, and I said bajillions, and she went, what? Did you say bajillions? And I went, no, but it can be.
Right, but yeah. So the context was, we were setting up a WhatsApp group so the three of us could like share like why any other reason set up a WhatsApp group. And they were like, what should we call it? And I was like, what do I call you? You might not actually even know this because it's when you phone or like, I'm like, there's Boss Bitch Billum. The amazing super bitch boss, because she's brilliant, absolutely fucking brilliant. So
don't give her a compliment, she can't bear it.
I know, she hides. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. And you guys were like, what do we call it? You were like, right, okay, are we aiming for like what are we aiming for in terms of sales? Is it millions? And it was just like, we'll just call it Vigilians.
Do you have any other questions for Richard Stone?
Oh, I want to know, what's the relationship with bread? You never finished that.
Oh, yeah.
With bread?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I've got a funny relationship with bread.
So my colitis now said to me, like, the things that are like ironing you out is things like wheat, like bread with like seeds and all that stuff in it, all that like posh artisan stuff. She went, the best thing you can do is have white bread. Yeah. I was like, I'm a fucking sun-blessed boy. Like, I was brought out of the councils to have fucking like white bread, like thin white bread. That was like the governor. And the other thing is bacon. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
She went, no.
What, bacon's good?
Bacon's good for me, apparently.
What is that then?
So I was like, so what you've told me is fuck all this all brown shit.
Bacon sandwich.
Bacon sandwiches 7 days a week for the rest of my life. Pen, no pen. You're fucking brilliant, you are. So that was what she said. Slightly ironic that we've now. I mean, I've got probably 25 grams worth of power tools in my garage. Me and Martin were talking about it the other day. But the best power tool we've ever bought in our house is a Panasonic bread maker. Like, off the scale. Like, I would worship that thing. And if it broke, I would go to the ends of the earth to get another one, because the bread that comes out of it is unbelievable.
White bread.
Really?
So easy.
White bread.
Any bread.
We've got a bread maker, but has it got to be the Panasonic?
I don't know.
I feel like we need to put this in the show notes.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to share.
I want a Panasonic bread maker.
Honestly, this thing, it's not even 300 quid. Like literally, I mean, I don't even do it. Gemma does it, but literally, you tip the shit in the top of it, and a fucking amazing loaf of bread comes out.
Do you put it on at night?
Sometimes, or sometimes during the day.
Yeah.
So like the kids now have like, because Ruby had long COVID, and like she couldn't eat. Like literally, her appetite just dropped to zero. So she now has like homemade like bread rolls for school. So does Charlie. Like I've had like white toast before I come out, but the house just smells of bread all the time.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fucking amazing.
Get in my belly.
Yes, we need recipe and link to.
Oh, there's
bread
loads of recipes, yeah. But no, white bread, love it.
Wow, how about that? We've covered so much today.
I don't even know how you would summarise that as an episode.
I don't have that. I've absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So have I.
I've loved getting to know you.
Me too.
I've loved the questions. I think, it's really interesting, the types of questions that you sort of brought out, and it's really interesting. Like this, because I watched your interview with Martin and the questions you asked him and the questions that you ask of each other. So I was really kind of like, just whatever. And like you said to me before we hit record, like, is there anything you won't talk about? And I'm like, there's nothing I won't talk about. So thank you for giving me the space to answer your questions.
Thank you for being so open and vulnerable.
There's only one way to be, isn't there?
I've only got one life, eh?
Got to live it, haven't we?
You've got 95% left.
And
No, I've got 95% left.
That's what I said, 95.
Oh, sorry. Well, I hope so.
and we only play big.
Yeah, I've changed mine now.
It's on my phone. It's on my phone. It comes up like every hour.
Every hour?
Every hour I get that reminder.
Oh, mine's at 9 a.m. Yeah.
It starts at 9 a.m, but yeah, every hour throughout the day. Because it's there subconsciously all the time. We're going to play.
It does make a difference.
It makes a big difference. Language is huge.
I'm learning the power of affirmations, and I've got this one affirmation which I've shared with you both. And every time I start to feel like, oh God, it's not happening, it's not going the way that I want it to, which I'm feeling a lot at the minute because I'm way out of my comfort zone, it really snaps me back.
Yeah, affirmations
it's amazing.
Are really powerful.
Yeah.
Really, really powerful. I was talking to Rebecca yesterday. So for people that are watching, they won't know, Rebecca Page, an amazing funnel builder. And like what resilience has one human being got to go through what she's gone through.
My fucking God, what a story.
Journey. You ought to do an interview.
I was going to say it would be epic. Yeah.
I was talking to her yesterday about affirmations, and she was going, and it's really weird. She's going right. She's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'm at my desk in the office." She's like, "Okay, right, stand up." And we're doing these different affirmations about like releasing like resistance to stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like how powerful. But that's part of the work she's done with people that have got the biggest results, is because they've actually, because doing all those like what mind maps and shit's great, but if you don't work on the resistance to it, it'll never work. You've got to get rid of the resistance to it.
Well, this is interesting because I kind of don't know what you're talking about, but I'm really intrigued.
So
energy. She's talking about energy.
And like what you're putting out into the world. And sometimes it can be like a blocker to what you actually want to achieve.
So we did she's incredible. I mean, we did a mind map on the whole of your brand and your business, and there was something that was festering away that felt like a little side thing, but when we spoke to her about it, she was like, oh my God, she just kept going back to it, but at the same time said, I'm feeling some resistance here, she said it 2 or 3 times, and we need to combat that. And I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? Because we're talking strategy, and then she just went, but there's a bit of resistance there, like you're almost at full moon ceremony at the same time as having a fucking business meeting. It was incredible.
Wow.
But it was so fast, like we were trying to cover so much in such a short space of time, and I'm going, I've got to go back to get the kids, I've got to go back and sort the kids out. We were meant to have an hour, we ended up having about 2.5 hours. So in that, we sort of split it into 3 really, so we split into 6, say. So the first 6 was like, hi, getting to know, because I'd met Rebecca, I'd spent 3 days on a course, you guys had never met. Then I drew out like the P&B and all the bits that fit around it as I see it, and then we talked about the new product that me and Nicole and Gemma's working on. So we had like 2 different kind of like mind maps, if you like. And she was like, great, okay, is that everything? And we were like, not sure, but it was kind of like a bit woo, so we were like, right, we'll go with that. She then completely redrew it all as 2 funnels. So that was the second, it's like that was probably the middle 4/6 of the session. But during that, she was so in tune to people's eye contact, people's body language, the words that we were using. She was like, there's this bit here, there's a resistance around this bit.
and it's quite unnerving if you've never done that before. But oh my god, how powerful!
What was the resistance? So did you?
So some of it's around price.
Oh right.
So some of it's around price because a lot of it comes back to wanting to serve a particular avatar. So my blueprint course, we've got 3 avatars.
Yeah.
We've got the like a small to medium builder, and then their partner, because they're different avatars for different reasons, and then we've got a property investor. So they're the 3 avatars for that. I'm a tradesman at heart. That's my audience. My mastermind is probably 75% people that are like that. They've got a certain budget and there's certain limitations around that, and I want to serve that budget. So I've got people saying to me my course should be like 4 times the price it is, and maybe that's their price point, or it's not. Maybe I know it is their price point, but I'm comfortable with my price point because I'm serving the people that I want to serve.
But also you're going to have the biggest impact.
Yeah, and
which
for me,
this
is
your
not
value,
about
isn't
filling
it?
my bank account. It's about actually creating legacy and helping people facilitate change. But she's like, I can feel the resistance to that. I'm like, okay. And then when I was talking to her yesterday, she was like, we need to like work on this. We need to get rid of the resistance. You might still have the context around it, which is fine, but if we don't get rid of the resistance, the sales won't happen.
And it will never reach its potential.
Yeah.
This woman sounds incredible.
She took a business from nothing to a $21 million valuation in just under 24 months. And then she's done it multiple other times as well. She's properly clever.
Is she?
Yeah.
And she's from New Zealand.
Oh, I love New Zealand.
She's got a wicked accent. And she's so down, honestly, she's so down to earth. Like, she walked in, I was like, I thought you were getting out of bed for the meeting. And she was like, fuck off, stop winding me up. Like, I've only known her 3 days.
Yeah.
But we just get on.
Oh, I love that. I love it when you meet people like that.
So, yeah, I'm sure there's probably... I think there'd be some value in you two having a conversation. Definitely for the online stuff, without a shadow of a doubt, because that's a mastery.
Yeah. I definitely need help with that.
And she's in beta stage at the moment. I'm very, very open to negotiation.
I would probably need her help with franchise, to be honest. How
Brilliant.
exciting. Thanks so much. Do you know what? I feel like we could just do this forever, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Don't pick a subject, let's have a chat.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a chat. Let's get an Uber Eats and let's just crack on. What do you want to talk about?
When are we doing it next then?
I don't mind.
Uber Eats, crack on, have another chat.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Amazing.
for being here, Toucan.
Toucan. I'm
I'm
loving the branding. That's wicked.
I said it's your brand colours.
She opened the door. I was like, oh my god, wow, love it.
Brand colours. My daughter chose it. She was like, I want you to wear the orange and the toucans today. I was like, okay, pop it. Whatever you say. Love her to pieces. Anyway, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.